Thanks for tuning into the market wrap. And it was an interesting day of trade simply because while the start did not promise to be very robust, I think we had a trending day today. And the bank Nifty led the gains again on a bit of a tear, really, the bank Nifty, and as a result of which the index closed well. I must say, Reliance participated as well. But yeah, for all index watchers, this was a good day of trade. The broader markets had a very decent day of trade as well. Get the nuts and bolts first. Look at that, about 0.5%, and it's some, now we've broken past the channel of 11,400 to 11,500, and which is why a lot of option writers and technical traders will tell you that in a bit of a blue sky. Of course, the resistances keep on coming, but for the longest time, this channel of 11,400 to 500 has been that strong resistance, which I think we've successfully eclipsed today. Autos led the way, and we'll talk about them in detail. But look at that. Reliance Industries 2.5% higher. Some of the other private banks like Kotak and Axis Bank participating as well. And very few losers. Bharti Airtel has this bogey of the MSCI selling, and there are these sales notes which is talking about $1 billion worth of selling coming into the MSCI rebalancing. So that is keeping the stock subdued. But aside of that, we didn't have too much which lost out in trade today, which is a good thing. The broader end of the spectrum, and again, yesterday's session was a bit of an exception in that we had market breadth not being positive or in favor of the advances. Yesterday was a bit of an anomaly. But in today's session, I think the nature of the move seems to suggest that the market breadth did not matter as much simply because a lot of stocks were powering ahead. Look at that. Actually, the market breadth too, 3-2 in favor of the advances. But look at those gainers, the double-digit gains, the pronounced gains, the top 20 gainers on your list or top 16 losers had gains northward of 6%. The top loser on the NSE 500 had a loss of only 4.5%. It tells you the story of the kind of moves that we had. I mean, autos right out there, some of the NBSEs right out there, IIFL Finance, Industar Capital, we had Mass Financial and some of the others moving around as well. So really good show being put up by the benchmark indices as well as the broader end of the spectrum. Well, let's get in Nickey to talk about what stood out really in trade, what are the stocks that she's monitoring as well. And then, of course, we'll talk about what to watch out for. Nickey, good afternoon. Pretty good day of trade today.
Yeah, I'm actually going to start off with something which ended on a negative note. That is VA Tech Wabag, and clearly a classic case of buy on rumors, sell on news. The stock has slid as much as 7.5% in trade today. The news that actually went well for the company, some amount of excitement rather that crept in, was Jhunjhunwala among the proposed investors for the company's 120 crore preferential issues. But if you look at the fundamentals of the company right now, for a long-term investor, this might just look like an attractive bet because the company has delivered on a positive operating cash flow after nearly 3 years. It's in a net debt. It's expected to be in a net cash position rather in FY22. The order book is rather vast, morely dependent on central or multi-rated funded. So the risk of receivables arising out of receivable is rather less for this counter. And a very significant trigger for this could be, if at all, there is a strong FII interest in ESG investing. And if the company does get into MSCI ESG index, it can see a further ride from here on. So clearly a good potential re-rating candidate, if I could so call it, for VA Tech Wabag. And other one that I have on my list is, of course, Venky's India, where it was one of the top performers that you had on Nifty 500 index. Of course, the stock has been sustaining about the 200-day moving average for 9th straight session. It has been trading, if you look at the RSI, it's currently at 78, indicating that the stock is at this point of time a little at its overbought territory. And more if you see at the charts, you'd see that the stock is more than doubled from the 52-week low of 580 that it saw on March 24th. At this point of time, most of the analysts which are tracking the counter on Bloomberg, at least, they have a buy recommendation and suggest a return potential of more than 30% for Venky's. Raffle again made it to the list. It was locked in upper circuit limit for 4 consecutive sessions in today's trade, and it actually has won an award or contract from Singapore government to build in the digital and cloud-based computer survey. So clearly one big win also coming on that account. Last that I'd like to address, of course, will be the auto counters. I mean, be it in the likes of Tata Motors, Hero MotoCorp, or Bajaj, as you were just addressing right at the start of your comments on market check. But then a couple of things actually moving around for this. interactions with two-wheeler, segment guys, they're suggesting that the GST cut, if it would be, integrated or would be passed to the entire two-wheeler segment, it's only then or when the benefits would actually creep in. But Niraj, I'd actually like to come back to you and ask your views on this space overall. How do the valuations stack up, and what is the return potential do you feel for this counter as a whole?
I don't know if I'm the only one who lost out the last piece of what Nickey said, but it's very interesting. Just before we talk about what's going to happen next, just a brief bit on autos. Remember, viewers, one that the commentary from the two-wheeler companies, as Nickey said, is turning out to be very positive simply because a lot of companies are saying that they're actually back to pre-COVID levels. Consumer durable sales, auto sales, etc., are looking okay. And I don't know. I somehow doubt that this GST cut can happen in tomorrow's GST Council meeting. It seems a bit far-fetched. There was a question asked. The finance minister did respond saying that yes, it is maybe legitimate, but in a matter of 2 days for this to happen, it just seems a bit far-fetched. And again, I think if auto ancillaries, which also have a 28% duty, if the duty is not cut on those, then it becomes an inverted duty structure. So I don't know, and it will be interesting to see, by the way, what happens if indeed this doesn't come about. There be a sell the rumor activity in Friday's session. Again, I'm not trying to preempt anything. Just be careful if you're indeed trading on auto two-wheeler names after the kind of rally that we've already seen. By the way, some two-wheeler financing companies do like include capital have done well. By the way, but very quickly, Nickey, what should one watch out for?
So, a couple of companies which will be coming out with numbers tomorrow. Avanti Feeds is one among them, and also NMDC. We'd like to keep an eye on NMDC because iron ore prices that has really been growing in the last 3 to 4 months that we've seen. It's we'd like to see how the more than the results, we'd be actually interested to see the commentary which comes out from NMDC as a whole, and also I expect telecom stocks to continue to be in focus, even if the AGR is, the verdict comes in later, expected to be somewhere on September 2nd. But before that, you can kind of expect some amount of traction or some amount of momentum building in for the telecom stocks like Bharti Airtel and also Reliance for that matter.
Yeah, well, today was a good day for RIL, not so good for Bharti. Let's wait and watch how the days shape up in the next few days. Like I said, Bharti has this technical bogey, and let's see how that one shapes up. But Nickey, thanks for that. And viewers, on that note, with the global markets looking reasonably okay as well, it's a wrap on this leg of the market wrap. Thanks so much for tuning in. And well, if you're still logged on, 8 minutes from now, we'll bring you the mutual fund show.